Welcome to the backyard. Today, we're going to talk about climate change. It's one of the most existential issues we face today, maybe even of our time. Now, whether you believe in this,
the older people usually say that we owe it to the young people to give them hope.
Or not.
Okay, it'll start getting cooler. You just watch.
I wish science agreed with you.
Well, I don't think science knows, actually.
This issue is impacting everyone and the world around us. There's no escaping it. It's all our problem. Now, what exactly is climate change? Well, it's a long-term development in the regular weather patterns that we can see from day to day, and that can vary. Now, hold on, I know that can sound deceived, but long-term, we still got time. You're worrying for nothing. No. An article published by Live Science stated we have only 12 years to stop climate change, and the clock is ticking. And that was in 2019. So that means we only have about until 2030 to get our together. The greenhouse effect occurs in the Earth's atmosphere, where a lot of heat is trapped by the gases. These gases are called greenhouse gases. They include carbon dioxide, water vapor, as well as methane. And these gases help to trap heat to keep the Earth warm and suitable for life to continue to prosper. But the burning of fossil fuels like oil and coal have released even more CO2 into the atmosphere, making the Earth warmer. So, what will that do for us? There will be a rise in temperatures, more heat waves, sea levels will rise, wet places will become even wetter and drier places even drier. There will be more hurricanes, winds, and even wildfires. For the past 3 years or so, fires have started to feel like a more annual occurrence here in Napa County. And, through all the power grid shutoffs and smoke-filled skies, it's always felt like a tough time. Not just for me, but, for everyone who calls this place home. I still remember the first time it happened to me, and not knowing if we were going to need to evacuate the house at some point, or if, the Atlas fire would consume Napa itself. So that was a pretty scary time. All right. Okay, that's cool and all, but I'm my good friend here, and we're gonna get his opinion on this whole climate change thing. Why do you think this issue is important?
I think this issue is important because we need to keep our planet clean, safe, and healthy for future generations as we were born into this earth.
And how has climate change affected you?
Climate change has affected me personally because there have been wildfires near my home, which led to power outages and me having to evacuate. So that's why it's important.
That's not what I put in the script. Okay,
Script?
that's not what I put in the script.
What script?
This script, all right? No, it's that. I'm sorry. What is climate change to you?
Climate change is when I think the environment gets hotter and creates a lot of problems within that environment.
And how does climate change make you feel?
Honestly, I don't really care because it doesn't really affect me within this area or within my lifetime, and we're all gonna die anyways.
Okay, that's a little bit harsh. Back to you.
What?
Seeing places like Texas freezing up, and also the power grid shutoffs that we have here at home, they kind of just go to show how unprepared we really are for these situations. How are we gonna fix this? It's not like it's gonna be easy. No, it won't be. Nobody said it would be easy, but we have to start somewhere. And we can start by supporting a congressional resolution called the Green New Deal, which will lay out a plan as to how we can tackle climate change. What about the people working with fossil fuels? Won't they lose their jobs? Green New Deal targets to create higher paying jobs, and they would also be in eco-friendly industries. So it's really a win-win for both of us. It also starts with how we can reduce our carbon emissions. It's so important that people understand that climate change affects everyone. Everyone. Nobody is excluded from this unless you move to like Mars or something like that. But even here in Napa County, there may be issues bound for us in the future if they're not already here. Our local wine growers might even have the worst part of it. Water has become scarce because of the rise in temperature, and less rain leads to more droughts. The lack of rain has made it considerably harder for growers to maintain good grapes, and without good grapes, we can't make great tasting wine for the rest of the world. Isn't that what we're known for? Even worse, an increase in pests have started chewing at the grapevines. And adding on to the heap of issues, a lack of water also makes it harder for farmers to grow their livestock. If you're still not convinced, we can look at a more broad picture. Coastal populations will be forced to move if sea levels start to rise, which they already have begun to. Large cities and highways, like Highway 37, could potentially go underwater. If you live in a higher elevation or more inland, you may be thinking that this doesn't affect you, but with large coastal populations moving inland, they'll have to flock to your cities and towns, making them even more crowded and rowdy. So even then, nobody is not affected by this. So what can we make sure to do that the Earth doesn't explode? Well, for starters, we can start reducing our dependency on fossil fuels. We can also start moving away from carbon-producing transportations to stop releasing all that gas into the atmosphere. Also, using renewable energy will help to cope with that. And also, electing people who you can side with and support your ideals can also help to bring this change forward. Protecting and banning areas from being developed can also help protect more of the environment, and teaming up with fossil fuel industries so we can help plan to move forward ahead without any consequences. So we'd rather become partners rather than adversaries. Talk to people and inform others about this global issue. If everyone is aware of the problem at hand, the more prepared we can be to save our planet. So what's in it for us? Well, we can create new jobs which will also be higher in pay, and we can also reduce the pollution happening all over the world. We can also stop the extreme weather conditions that are harming people in more ways than one. But at the same time, we'll also be saving our planet. Our better days are ahead of us, but we need to change our habits now and literally save the world. So, will you help?
Are we going now? Same exact time.
Okay, cut, done.